Very, very good morning to all of you, my friends. I hope you guys are doing good. So, today is my first class. I am CA Vipin Bora. I'll be taking care of the three chapters, that is service costing, marginal costing, standard costing. These three chapters are very important from examination point of view. When talking about the weightage of these three chapters, the weightage is approx 30 marks from these three chapters. So do pay attention. And further, these classes are revisionary classes. So whatever the doubts you have, be it any practical questions related to study material, be it any problem, conceptual problem, whatever it is, you can speak to me, you can post your queries. I'm here to address all your queries. Further, I'll be taking few problems from the past RTPs, and if the time permits, I'll take few problems from study material also. So I request you guys to please download the material what I have provided over the portal. So let me give you a brief about this chapter, service costing. When talking about this chapter, service costing, it's a method of costing used by those companies who are engaged in providing services. This service costing is used to calculate the cost per unit of the service. I repeat again, when talking about service costing, it's a method of costing used by those companies who are engaged in providing services to us. Further, this is used to calculate the cost per unit of service. When talking about the industries, let me give you a brief about what all industries are there. But there are many industries. But yes, when talking about what we will be doing in this chapter is basically we have to prepare service cost sheet. So we have to assemble all the cost divided by units. I repeat again, when talking about in this chapter, we'll be calculating the cost per unit of service. So we'll be preparing service cost sheet wherein we'll just write down all the cost divided by units. So we will get the per unit of service. Now the units may vary from industry to industry. That is the key. So the units may vary from industry to industry. So if it is transportation industry, units can be kilometers. So we can calculate the cost per kilometer. It can be passengers. It can be some composite units also, that is passenger kilometer, ton kilometer. So herein the key is what? The difference is what? That the total cost divided by units, but units may vary from industry to industry. Let me give you a brief about what all units are there. So industry, further units can be either single unit or composite unit. Units can be either single unit or composite unit. So let's say it is transportation industry. Single unit can be, the question can ask us to calculate the cost per kilometer, cost per passenger. So if it is single unit, the question can ask us to calculate cost per passenger, cost per kilometer, cost per ton, cost per mile. So when only one element is involved, then we call it a single unit. Now, wherein two elements are involved, so herein it is passenger, so it is single unit. It is kilometer, so it is single unit. It is tons, so it is single unit. It is miles, so that's why it is single unit. When talking about composite unit, two elements will be involved. So the question can ask you to calculate cost per ton kilometer, cost per passenger kilometer. cost per ton mile. So herein what we can see is that there are two units that are involved. So we can call it as composite unit. Further, another industry we can say it is hotel industry, wherein if the question is asking us to calculate, question can ask us to calculate cost per room or cost per day. However, in composite unit, it will be cost per room day. Further, in hospitals also, it can be cost per patient. It can be cost per bed. Further, if it is composite unit, it will be cost per patient bed. Further, when talking about power generation sector, it will be only single unit in general cases, that is cost per kilowatt of electricity generated. So just like that, if it is toll collection agency, it can be, they can question can ask you to calculate the cost per vehicle or cost per kilometers. So the units may vary from industry to industry. So when talking about gym, cost per guest, so there are many industries that are providing us services. So the units may vary from industry to industry. Those who want to copy this explanation can please copy this explanation. Now, very important, coming to transportation industry, composite unit can be calculated using two ways, that is absolute and commercial. Absolute uses the weighted average approach, and commercial uses the simple average approach. Let me discuss this concept with the help of an example that is given in the study material. I request you guys to please open the study material. I request you guys to please open your study material. I'll be discussing illustration number 1. I request you guys to open the study material. I'm discussing illustration number 1. So a lorry starts with a load of 20 metric tons of goods from station A. A lorry starts with a load of 20 metric tons of goods from station A. It unloads 8 metric tons in station B and balance in station C. On the return trip, it reaches station A with a load of 16 metric ton loaded at C. The distance is given from A to B, B to C, and C to A, that is 80, 120, and 160 kilometers respectively. Compute the absolute metric ton kilometer and commercial metric ton kilometer. Now, here and very important, guys, when you find these types of question, wherein the vehicle is going from this location to from a particular city to another city, then it unloads some passengers or metric tons and it is going to another city. Try to present or try to prepare the diagram, the overall diagram or the chart or the pattern of travel in diagrammatic form. So here, see, it is starting from station A. What we can see is that the lorry is starting from station A with a load of 20 metric ton. It unloads 8 metric ton at B and then balance at C. So from A, it is going to B. From B, it is going to C. And from C, it is directly coming to A. So this is the travel pattern of this vehicle. Further, when talking about the load they are carrying 20 metric tons of goods from station A. So from station A, they are carrying 20 metric tons. So very important, guys, from A to B, 20 metric tons are traveling. Very important, from A to B, 20 metric tons are traveling. Further, it unloads 8 metric ton in station B. So once the 8 tons are unloaded at B, so it means how many tons are traveling from B to C? Only 12 metric tons are traveling from B to C. When talking about the return journey, it is carrying a load of 16 metric tons and it is coming directly to station A. So this is the load distribution from various origin to various destination. Further, the distance from A to B, B to C, and A to C is given. That is 80, 120, and 160 kilometers. So 80 kilometer, 120 kilometer, 160 kilometers. So once we present it in diagrammatic form, we can easily calculate the answer. So see, A to B, 20 metric tons for 80 kilometers. B to C, 12 metric tons for 120 kilometers. C to A, so it will be 5,600 ton kilometer. So herein, this is the way we will calculate absolute ton kilometer, wherein we will present it in diagrammatic form, and then we will just multiply the tons with the kilometers, tons with the kilometers, tons with the kilometer to get the absolute or absolute ton kilometer. Now, in simple average, the concept is very simple. That is the total distance traveled multiplied by average tons. The total distance traveled multiplied by average tons. So the total distance traveled is how much? 120 plus 80 plus 160. That is 360 kilometers into average ton, that is 20, 12 and 16. So this is the way we will calculate absolute ton kilometer, and this is the way we will calculate commercial ton kilometer. So the key is the difference is the weighted average approach and the simple average approach. So in short, these are what the units, that is the total cost divided by units. So these are basically the units what we have calculated. So very simple, guys. When talking about transportation industry, the composite unit can be calculated in two ways. Specifically in transportation industry, not in all the industries. Specifically in transportation industry, the composite unit can be calculated in two ways, either absolute or commercial. Further, always remember, guys, when you are calculating these terms, always, if the question is silent, always calculate it using the absolute approach. But when talking about commercial, it is to be applied only when specifically asked in the question. So if the question is silent, we have to apply only the weighted average approach. However, this simple average approach to be used only when asked. So anyone with any doubts or queries, you guys can post your queries. I'm available over the portal also. So if you guys have any doubts or queries, you guys can post your queries. Those who want to copy this explanation can copy this explanation. Again, the presentation, see, solution is there in the study material, but the difference is of the presentation. Astha Sethi, are you done with this chapter? I mean, it's like you are done with all the questions of study material, Astha. So any doubts in this chapter specifically related to any question? Then from where exactly you are facing the doubt or query, Astha? From RTPs or MTPs or any other questions? Okay. The questions are related to what? Transportation industries or something like that? Okay. You're saying RTP May 2022. So one second, I think I have covered this question. I'll be discussing this question also. Let me check. RTP May 2022. So I think I'll be covering in this session. It's a good question. Yes, RTP May 2022 question I'll be taking in this session. You can check the notes what I have provided. I'll be discussing that question. Which RTP November of which year, Astha? Okay, let me check. Anyways, guys, so this is the overall concept of calculating the absolute and weighted average, sorry, absolute and commercial in transportation industry. Now, one more question I want to discuss from study material, that is relating to calculation of units in hotel industry. So I'm just taking a very basic question that is there in the study material. That is the calculation of room days. I think it's not there. Okay, there is an illustration. For example, it is given. Page number it is 12.8. I think it's an incomplete question. I just want to take a question on hotel industry. So let's take a question on hotel industry, because see, many students find difficulty in calculating units. That is, be it transportation industry, be it hotel industry. So these two industry, the calculation of units is a bit difficult. So transportation industry, I have given you an overall idea. Let's take a question on hotel industry. Let's say a hotel a company runs a hotel with 200 rooms. When talking about the categories, let's say deluxe, super deluxe, and let's say suite room. There are total 120 rooms of 100 rooms deluxe, 80 rooms super deluxe, and 20 rooms are suite rooms. Total, this is 200 rooms. Further, this is what occupancy, sorry, number of rooms. When talking about the average occupancy, let's take it is 80%, it is 60%, and it is 50%. This is the average occupancy. Assume total cost is 48 lakh. Management targets profit of 20% on room rent. Further, room rent of super deluxe is twice of deluxe, and that of suite room is 2.5 times of super deluxe. Calculate room rent. Assume 360 days in a year. So when you find such type of question, we are required to calculate generally the room days. So herein, a company runs a hotel with 200 rooms. The category is basically deluxe, super deluxe, and suite room. So 100 are deluxe room, 80 are super deluxe room, and 20 are suite rooms. Occupancy is 80, 60 and 50%. Assume total cost is 48 lakh. Management target profit of 20% on room rent. Room rent of super deluxe is twice of deluxe. Super deluxe is twice of deluxe. And that of suite room is 2.5 times of the super deluxe room. You are required to calculate the room rent. So these are generally the questions wherein examiner do ask us to calculate room rent. Now herein very important is the calculation of the room days, that is the number of rooms occupied during the whole year. So herein we will first calculate the room days. Since we have to calculate the room rent of all the three categories, so deluxe, super deluxe, and suite room. So there are 100 rooms and the occupancy is 80%. It means 80 rooms are occupied in a day into 360 days in a year. Similarly, there are 80 rooms. The occupancy is 60%. They are occupied for 360 days in a year. I repeat again, 100 rooms are there. The occupancy is 80%. It means 80 rooms are occupied in a day. Into 360 days, we will get the number of rooms that are occupied throughout the year of deluxe room. Similarly, of super deluxe also, there are 80 rooms that are, the occupancy is 60%. So the number of rooms occupied are 48 into 360 days. Similarly, for suite rooms also 20 into 50% into 360. So this is how we will get the number of room days. So this will be 28,800. This will be 3,600. So the total number of rooms are 49,680. Now thereafter we'll calculate the total revenue. So herein my cost is 48 lakh and management target 20% profit of 20% of the room rent. So 48 lakh divided by 80%. That is 60 lakh. Now we have to fix up the room rent. So assume room rent of deluxe room be X. Therefore, for super deluxe, room will be. So assume that the total room rent of deluxe room is X. So for super deluxe room, it is what? Room rent of super deluxe is twice of deluxe. So it will be 2X. And that of suite room is 2.5 times of super deluxe. So when and 2.5 times not of deluxe room but of super deluxe room. So this will be 5X. So this is the room rent of deluxe X, super deluxe 2X and suite room will be 5X. So when talking about the total room rent, see the number of rooms occupied are 28,800 into X. Further The number of rooms occupied of super deluxe are 17 to 80, and their rent per room per day is how much? 2x. Similarly, the number of rooms occupied of suite category is 3,600, and the rent is what? 5x. So this should be equal to my total revenue of 60 lakhs. So we have to calculate the value of x. So room rent of deluxe will be 73.74. Super deluxe will be double of this, that is 147.50. And that of suite room will be so this is how generally the room rent is calculated. So in question in hotel industries also, the question will be given as in wherein the cost will be given and we have to calculate the total cost divided by the number of room days. So this is how the room days will be calculated and this is how the rent will be calculated. So this is what is the general pattern what examiner do ask. Further, if you guys have any doubts or queries, you guys can post your queries. In the meanwhile, I suggest you guys to please copy. Yes, this will be done. Yes, Astha. Anything else? This is the question and this is the solution. I'll be covering this part also. Now, in generally all the industry, the format is very simple. That is, we have to calculate the total cost divided by units, be it any industry. Specifically in transportation industry, do make a note of it, guys. In all the industries, the format will be the simple, that is the service cost sheet. We have to write down all the items. We have to calculate the total cost. We have to write down the figures, and the total cost will be calculated, divided by units. We will get the cost per unit of service. But specifically in transportation industry, we have to divide the cost in three parts. That is, so we have to categorize the cost in three parts. That is fixed or standing, variable or running cost, and maintenance cost. And then we will calculate the total cost. So this is what the format of transportation industry, specifically for transportation industry. Rest, for any of the industries, there is no fixed format. It's up to you. You can change the format as per your wish. If you want to present it in a better way, sometimes, the question will give you a bifurcation of fixed and variable cost. Or be it any other, point of segregation will be there. So for better presentation, you can do so. But as such, there is no specific format apart from transportation industry. Now, Asta has raised a query that, sir, depreciation will be considered as standing cost or running cost. See, if in question Asta, the information is given that this much is the cost, this much is the scrap value, and this much is the useful life. And the useful life means what? Useful life in years. So if the useful life is given in years, if the useful life of vehicle is given in number of years, then it will be a standing, or we can say fixed cost. However, in some question, the useful life is given in the distance travel. Let's say the capacity of the useful life of the vehicle is 3 lakh kilometer or 4 lakh kilometer. So very important, if the useful life in kilometers or miles, then the depreciation will be treated as variable. So let's say the useful life of the vehicle is 4 lakh kilometers. And this year we are running the vehicle for, let's say, 70,000 kilometers. So the depreciation will be treated as variable cost or running cost. Any other general doubt, Astha, relation to hospital, hotel, and transportation industry? Yes, Siddhi, any doubts? Those who want to copy this explanation can copy. I hope your query is resolved, Astha. Those who are watching over YouTube can post your queries over the portal. So there must be some mistake, Astha. So when talking about this pattern, the pattern is very clear. If the useful life is given in number of years, it will be standing cost. However, if useful life is given in kilometers or miles, it will be variable cost or running cost. I hope it is clear. Now I request you guys to please download the material what I have provided over the portal. I'll be discussing few questions from my material, giving you 2 minutes time to download the material what I have provided. I'll be discussing a question from my material now. Question number 3, RTP May 2022. So I'll be starting with this question only. Giving you 2 minutes time. Please open the material what I have provided. Please download the material. The material is available over the portal. So see, Asta, sir, if it in question, it is given number of trips in a distance, so we have to multiply it by 2. It means what? That if the bus is running for 20 kilometers one way, it means 20 kilometers into 2. You can check my previous sessions. I mean, recorded session of my regular batch. I have taken variety of questions on transportation industry. So it will help you to understand the concepts in better way. So let's start with this question. RTP May 2022, wherein Navya LMV Private Limited operates cab/car rental services in Delhi NCR. It provides its services to the office of Noida, Gurugram, and Faridabad. And at present, it operates CNG fueled car, but it is also considering to upgrade these into electronic vehicles. The details related with the owing of CNG and EV cars are as tabulated below. So the details are given wherein the purchase price of the cars are given, the government subsidy on purchase of cars is given, useful life of the cars is given in number of years, that is 15 years and 10 years. The residual value is given, that is 95,000, 1,70,000. The mileage is given, that is 20 kilometer per kg and 240 kilometer kilometer per charge. Electricity consumption, mileage is 240 kilometer per full charge. So electricity consumption per full charge, it is 30 kilowatt. CNG cost is given, power cost per kilowatt is given, annual maintenance cost is given, annual insurance cost is given, tire replacement cost in every 5 years is given. So the tires need to be replaced after every 5 years. Battery replacement cost in every 8 years is given. Apart from the above, the following are the additional information, wherein the average distance covered by a car in a month is 1,500 kilometers. Driver salary is 20,000 per month. Garage rent per car is 4,500 per month. Share of office and administration cost per car is 1,500 per month. Calculate the operating cost of vehicle per month per car for both CNG and EV option. So herein the question is clearly given the data wherein we have to calculate the cost per month. So let's start with the statement of cost. Question number 3. First one is CNG car. Since, as I mentioned, that we have to distribute the cost in 3 parts, the first one is fixed or standing cost. So herein the purchase price of the car is given. So we will first calculate the depreciation. Now, an important tip from my side, do make a note of it. Whatever the calculation you are doing, present it either in the main table or via a footnote. For every working, you will get some marks. So very important. Don't do any calculations in the rough paper or rough book. Very simple. Whatever the calculation you are doing, be it the calculation of depreciation, also present it, because do make a note of it. For every steps, you will get some marks. So let's start with the calculation of depreciation, working note number 1. For CNG car, let's calculate the depreciation. See, the cost of car is 9,20,000. Residual, sorry, 9,20,000. Residual value is 95,000. Useful life is 15 years. The cost of car is 9,20,000. Residual value is 95,000. Useful life is 15 years. Since the question is asking us to calculate the monthly depreciation, so we will divide it by 12. So we'll get the depreciation as, one second. We'll get the depreciation as 4583.33. So similarly for electronic vehicle also, we will calculate it in same way. That is the useful. Now see, the cost of cars is 15,20,000. See, government subsidy is there 1,50,000. So the net cost is how much? 15,20,000 minus 1,50,000. The net cost is 13,70,000. 13,70,000 minus the residual value is 1,70,000. The useful life is how much years? 10 years. Since we are required to calculate the monthly depreciation, so into 1 by 12. So we'll get the depreciation of EV car also. So the depreciation amount will be 10,000. So we'll just write down 4583.33. Now we are done with the calculation of depreciation, mileage, electricity consumption, CNG cost, power cost, all are basically the variable cost. Annual maintenance cost is also goes under repairs and maintenance. Now let's move towards the next part, that is basically the annual insurance cost. So annual insurance cost is 7,600 divided by 12. So it will be 633.33. See, annual insurance cost is to be placed under fixed or standing cost. Alternatively, you can place it under maintenance cost also, but it is advisable to place under fixed or standing cost only. So 633.33. And for this car, 14,600 divided by 12. So this will be 1216.67. Now, next, tires, replacement cost, all these are variable cost or running cost. See, driver salary is given, that is 20,000 per month in both the cases. Garage rent is also given, that is 4,500. Next is share of office and administration cost per car. It is 1,500. So this is all what about my fixed cost or standing cost. Now let's move towards the next part, that is variable cost or running cost. Now let's move towards the next part, that is variable cost or running cost. Now see, when talking about the running cost, see here in the distance traveled is given. So we have to calculate the cost of CNG consumed and the power cost. So this is only the variable cost or running cost. So see the distance, so calculation of fuel or power cost. So let's prepare working note number 2. Now herein the distance traveled by, let's start with CNG first. So the distance traveled by car is 1500 kilometers and the mileage is 20 kilometer per kg. So 1500 is the distance traveled. The mileage of the vehicle is 20 kilometers per kg. And the cost per kg of CNG is how much? 60 rupees. So this is how we will get the fuel or power cost. So 1500 divided by 20 into 60 will get the 4500 as the CNG cost. So anyone with any doubts or queries, you guys can please post your queries. Now moving towards the electronic vehicle power consumption cost. Again, the distance traveled is 1500 kilometers. Now, very important, the car gives a mileage of 240 kilometers per charge. So how many numbers of charging required? 240 kilometers in every charge. So since 1500 kilometers divided by 240, it means 6.25 times we have to charge. And in this, every full charge, 30 kilowatt is consumed. 6.25 times we have to charge, and it consumes 30 kilowatt every full charge, and the power cost is 7.6. So this will be 1425. I repeat again, 1500 kilometers the car is running, and 240 kilometers the car is running once in full charge. So it means what? 6.25 times we have to charge into the 30 kilowatt. So the total kilowatt consumed will be how much? 6.25 into 30. So total kilowatt consumed will be 187.5, and the cost of a kilowatt is how much? 7.6. So this is how we will get 1425. This is a very good point. So now 4500 and 1425. So this is all what about variable cost or running cost. Now next is what? Maintenance cost. Now see, herein it is given in the question straight away that annual maintenance cost is 8,000 and 5,200. So 8,000 divided by 12, that is 666.67. Similarly, herein also 5,200 divided by 12. So it is 433.33. Now I think we are left out with only two costs, that is tire replacement and battery replacement cost. So let's start with working note number 3. So I think, Astha, you are finding difficulty in tire replacement cost only, right? Yes, Astha. So you said May 2022 also. So you are done with this question, Astha? Okay. So now let's start with the tire replacement cost. Now see herein the tires are replaced after every 5 years. The tires are replaced after every 5 years, and the cost of the tire is 16,000. So, guys, very important. Once we purchase the car, the tires are already installed, and after 5 years, again we have to install tire. So you see here in this case, in CNG car specifically, see the useful life is given as 15 years. So useful life is given as for CNG cars it is 15 years, and for battery vehicle it is 10 years. Replacement of tire is what? After every replacement of tire is after every 5 years. 5 years. So it means what? The number of times the tire need to be replaced is how much? Number of times the tire need to be replaced. Number of times the tire need to be replaced is only 2 times, because see, once we purchase the car, the tires are already installed. So after 5 years, we have to install it once. So after 5 years, we have to install it once. After 10 years, we have to install it second time. And once the 15 years are over, we have to scrap out the car. So number of times the tire has to be replaced is 2. And herein in this case, only 1 time the tire need to be replaced. Further, the cost of tire is given in the question. Cost of the tire is given in the question, that is 16,000 in both the cases. So now we can easily calculate the cost per month. So total cost will be how much? 32,000, and here it will be 16,000. So cost per month will be how much? 32,000 divided by 15 into 1 by 12. So 32,000 divided by 15 divided by 12 will get the cost of tire. So herein also 16,000 divided by 10 divided by 12 will get 133.33 as the cost of tire. So this is how this tire replacement cost is calculated. It's a very good point. It's a unique point wherein see the useful life is given, the replacement of tires after the tires need to be replaced after 5 years. So see, once we purchase the car, the tires are already installed. So herein, in the 5th year, we will install the tires, and in the 10th year, we will install the tires. See, in the 15th year, we will just scrap out the car. So 2 times the tire need to be replaced. So 16,000 into 2, the total cost will be 32,000. So 32,000 into divided by 15 into 1 by 12, and herein also 16,000 divided by 10 into 1 by 12. So this is how we will calculate the tire replacement cost. I request you guys to copy this explanation, please. I'll be erasing this part. Next is battery replacement. Now, useful life of the vehicle is 15 and 10. Replacement of battery after. So battery need to be replaced after 1 second. So battery need to be replaced after every 8 years. And herein in EV also the battery need to be replaced after 8 years only. So number of times the battery need to be replaced. Herein one time and herein also one time. So herein also one time the battery need to be replaced because see in 8th year and will replace the battery and the useful life is 15 years. So no need to replace the battery thereafter. Herein the useful life is 10 years. So after 8 years we need to replace the battery. Further, the cost is given for battery that is 12,000 and 5,40,000. So since one time only the battery is replaced, so 12,000 will be the total cost and 5 lakh 10,000, 5 lakh 40,000 will be the total cost. So this will be 66.67 and herein it is 5 lakh 40,000 since we have to replace it once divided by 10 divided by 12. So this will be 4,500. So this is how we will calculate the total cost. I think we have covered all the elements of cost now. So that is car purchase price and all is covered. Then annual maintenance cost is covered, annual insurance cost is covered, tire replacement, battery replacement, driver salary, garage rent, and everything is covered. So now we have to just calculate the total. So this is all what about the total cost for the month. So still CNG cars are much more efficient for the company because the total cost per month is way less than the new EV car. So it is advisable for the company to continue with CNG cars because they are more profitable. If you guys have any doubts or queries in this part, you guys can please post your queries. Waiting for your queries now. Further, take your time and do copy this explanation. So when talking about this calculation, Asta, so the total cost of replacement is 12,000 into divided by 15 years into 1 by 12. Similarly, here also 4,500 divided by useful life is 10 years into 1 by 12. So herein also the total cost is how much? 32,000 divided by 15 into 1 by 12 and 16,000 divided by 10 into 1 by 12. So this is the way we will solve the question. See, I have assumed that insurance cost is under the standing cost. They have taken it, I think, under the maintenance cost, but I have considered insurance cost under standing cost. Let me check the total once again. Okay. Thank you. So anyone with any doubts or queries, you guys can please post your queries. I request you guys to copy this explanation. So Astha, where exactly you are finding the difficulty in that question? Can you please brief? Further, in the meanwhile, I suggest you guys to copy this explanation. So herein you are finding difficulty in the calculation of passenger kilometer, right, Astha? In November 2022 RTP, right? Yes? Okay. In the meanwhile, I suggest you guys to please copy this explanation. Asta, I think there can be a difference of opinion on this question. I have just checked the question. There can be a difference of opinion on this question. So I need to check. You just write a mail to cma-inter@icai.in. cma-inter@icai.in. I'll just check out because I think your approach is also correct. I need to check it out. I hope it is done. Those who want to copy this explanation can please copy. Rest, anything else, Asta, you want me to discuss? Yes, Siddhi, any doubts? Sorry, Siddh. Yes, Siddh, any doubts? Siddh Sangani. I request you guys to copy this explanation, giving you last 2 minutes time again. This question is a very good question. Generally, what people do is that, okay, this is the question. So we will start with the solution wherein what people do 16,000 divided by 5 and into 1 by 12. So this is not the solution. This is the way we have to deal with this problem. Any other particular question you want me to discuss? Rest, I'll be discussing the question from the material what I have provided. Anything specific, Asta and Sid, you want me to discuss? Can you please brief your query, Asta? Can you please brief your query? You can just unmute and speak to me, Asta. That will be better. If you are carrying mic with you, you can just unmute and speak to me. Anyone else with any doubts or queries? So fine, guys. Let's take a break of 15 minutes. I'll be back after 15 minutes with few more questions. So let's take a break of 15 minutes. Admin sir, are you there? Yes, sir. Break started? Yeah. Welcome back, my friends. So let's start with the next question. Which question you want me to discuss, Sid? The material what I have provided, right, Sid? Okay. So let's start with question number 1. That is from my material. It is from RTP September 2025. So let's start with this question. See, due to frequent power cuts and inconsistent water supply from electricity board, Anju Manufacturing Private Limited, a mid-size engineering goods manufacturer based in Pune, decide to set up its own captive power generation plant. The plant is critical for ensuring uninterrupted production across its two major units. So there are two units, produces industrial machinery component, highly power intensive operation, and further its unit to manufacture agriculture equipment parts that are moderate power, that requires moderate power load. The factory operations heavily depends on continuous electric and water supply for running CNC machine, foundry operations, welding units, assembly lines. Any electricity failure lead to major production delay, idle labor cost, penalties from the client due to late delivery. So they have just given that pros and the cons of electricity failure, so not that relevant. After analyzing the risk of depending entirely on electricity board, the company board of directors approved a proposal to invest in a dedicated steam boiler and power generation plant within the factory premise. So the first part of the question is nothing, but they are just giving about the brief of, they are just giving the brief of the business, what they are doing, and they are just expressing the importance of electricity, and they just don't want to get dependent upon the state electricity board, so they are planning to set up their own power plant. So this is what the entire story or background is given, nothing important for the calculation and solution purpose. So they are planning to install a steam boiler and a power generation plant within the factory premise. The following information has been taken from the records in connection with the generation of power during the month, wherein the coal used is given, freight and handling charges are given, oil is given, water is given, steam boiler cost is given. That is 50 lakh with the residual value of 2 lakh after a life of 10 years. Salaries and wages of the boiler house is given. So they are setting up two things. First one is the boiler house and second one is the power generation plant. So salaries and the wages are given for the boiler house, wherein skilled, semi-skilled and unskilled workers are there. Recovery on account of sale of ashes is also given. Salaries and wages of the generating station is given. So the first part of the question was relating to boiler house, and I think the second part is relating to generating station, wherein repairs and maintenance is given for the generating station, depreciation of generating equipment is given, insurance premium on generating plant is given, fuel handling and storage expenses are given, rent of generating generating station premise is given, share of administration charges are given. Now, number of units generated before losses is 2 lakh units. So the total number of electricity units generated is 2 lakh units. Normal loss in the process is 3,000 units generated. So of the units generated, 3,000 are basically the loss. Electricity purchased from grid to meet the emergency requirement is 5,000 units at the rate 6 rupees per unit. Now, 10% of the effective units generated are used internally by the generator department itself. Additional information is given. See, this term 10% of the effective units generated are used internally by the generator department. So what is effective units? So the additional information is given. So the purchase electricity units are not subject to any loss adjustment. So by default also, if it is not given, we will assume the same. Emergency purchase unit should be added to the effective unit available for use. Okay. You are required to calculate the total cost of electricity generated and the cost of total cost of electricity generated and the cost of generating electricity per unit. So let's start with the statement of cost of this question. Question number 1, RTP September 2025. So let's start with the solution. 1 second. So coal used, it is 1800 tons at the rate 230 per ton. It is 4,14,000. Next is freight and handling charges is 7% of the cost of coal. So that is 28,980. So freight and handling charges. That is 4,14,000 into 7%. So it comes to 28,980. Oil is 15 tons at the rate 15 tons at the rate 4,000 per ton. So it is 67,500. So it is 67,500. Water, it is 80,000 liters at the rate 7 paisa per liter. So it is 5,600. Steam boiler cost is, so herein we will calculate the depreciation. So it is 50 lakh minus 2 lakh divided by useful life is 10 years. And see, the data is given for months. So we will convert it into months only. So 50 lakh minus 2 lakh divided by useful life is 10 years into 1 by 12. So this will be 40,000. Further, the salaries are given: skilled, semi-skilled, and unskilled. So 15 skilled workers at the rate 1,300 per month. 30 at the rate 1,100 per month. And 50 at the rate 900 per month. So this will be 45,000, 33,000. It will be 19,500. This is all. What about the cost of boiler house? Further, see, it is given in the question also that there is some sale. See, herein it is given in the question, recovery on account of sale of ashes is 150 tons at the rate 60 per ton. This is basically the byproduct. So this will be the cost of boiler house. So since it's a recovery on sale of ashes, so this amount will be deducted from the cost, because see, these are the cost and this is a kind of revenue. So this amount will be deducted from the cost. It's a very important point again. So this is all what about the total cost of boiler house. Now let's move towards the next part, that is the generating station. One second. So now let's start with the cost of generating station. No need to bifurcate, Astha. See, if the clear bifurcation, some sort of hints are given that we need to bifurcate, then we can. But rest, it's up to you. I mean, to bifurcate or not to bifurcate. Generally, there is no fixed format in any other industry apart from transportation industry. So it's up to you. I mean, if you want to bifurcate, you can, else it's up to you. So next is the generating plant. This part is the key. Recovery on sale of ashes will be deducted because it's a kind of revenue to the company. These all are the cost and this is a revenue. See, the point is, when talking about format, see, do pay attention, Asta. The point is very simple. Specifically in transportation industry, there is a format. For rest, all the other industry, there is no fixed format. I mean, some question they have bifurcated in fixed or variable. In some other question, they have bifurcated in some other way. So just check the hints that are given in the question and accordingly you have to prepare statement of cost. So there is a question in study material also relating to hospitals wherein they have clearly bifurcated fixed and variable. As such, if this bifurcation is not given, we can directly prepare statement of cost. However, the question has provided enough of hints that this much is fixed, this much is variable. So we need to bifurcate that cost. So now let's move toward the generating station. So herein first we will start with the salaries. So 60 workers at the rate 1200. 20 at the rate 1000. And the next is 30 at the rate 850. Repairs and maintenance of generating equipment 30,000. Depreciation is given, insurance premium is given. You have to write it down completely just to save time. I'm just writing it directly insurance only. In examination, you have to write down completely insurance premium on generating plant. Just to save the time, I'm just writing it down directly so that I can discuss one more question. Further, fuel handling and storage is 8,000. Rent of generating station is 12,000. Admin charges are also given, that is 65,000. There is one more additional cost, that is, see, we are procuring some additional electricity. So other cost, wherein we are procuring some other electricity also from outside, that is from State Electricity Board, that is 5,000 units at the rate 6 per unit. So now we'll get the total cost. ₹9,97,000. Anyone with any doubts or queries till now, you guys can please post your queries. Now let's proceed further. We have to divide, this is the total cost. Now we have to divide by units generated. So this part is the key. We'll prepare the working note. Now see, now see herein it is given, one second. See herein it is given that the total number of units generated before loss, it is 2 lakh. Further, the normal loss is also given, that is 3000 units. So new units generated will be how much? So 2 lakh is the total units generated of this, normal loss is 3000. So we are left out with 1,97,000 units. Now of this 1,97,000 units, 2 lakh, normal loss is 3000 units. So we are left out with 1,97,000 units. Now see here and read the question carefully. The question is asking us to calculate the cost of generating electricity per unit. Further, see, it is given in the question 10% of the effective units generated are used internally by the generator. So जो भी units हमने manufacture किए हैं उसमें से 10% जो है वो internally use हो गए. And further, so see, it means we have generated 197, so 1,97,000 units, wherein they are saying that 10% is consumed internally. Further, see, we have procured 5,000 extra units, and of these units, see, it is given in the additional information. Second point, emergency units should be added to the effective units available for use. So it means electricity purchased. Electricity purchased, that is electricity purchased of 5,000 units will be added. So herein 2,02,000 will be the total number of units. That is, we can say the effective units generated. In this 10% consumed internally. It is given in the question that see the unit purchase will form part of effective units generated. It is given in the question, read the second line, emergency purchase units should be added to the effective units available for use. And further, see, now let's get back just above the additional information. 10% of the effective units generated are used by the generator department itself. So herein, whatever the effective units are, 10% will be used internally. And when talking about effective units means what? Units generated plus the units that are purchased. So everything is given in the question clearly and specifically. So the units generated will be how much? 1,81,800. So it will be 5.48. See, Asta, if not written in additional point number 2, then yes, we have to write our assumption. See, if we are not including these 5,000 units, we can write the assumption that only the units that are generated will be consumed internally. So it's up to you. But herein everything is given in the question. If not given in the question, we can take both the assumption. Any doubts or queries, Asta? Yes, Sid Sangani, I hope your query is resolved. Yes, any doubts, Asta, in this question? Actually, my opinion also matches with your opinion, but I need to check it out that why this solution is why this solution is like that. See, when my opinion is more or less the same, but still I need to check out each and every point of the question, and accordingly then I'll just address your query. Any other doubts in this question, Astha? Let me check. I'll get back to you. Don't worry. Those who want to copy this explanation can copy. Those who are watching over any other portal or via any other media, you can speak to me over the portal. You can post your queries over the portal relating to this chapter. When talking about this chapter, the chapter is very easy. Herein, the units calculation is a bit difficult in transportation and hotel industry. Rest all, read the question carefully. Just copy all the cost divided by units. The point is you have to maintain the patience that first check the question is asking us to calculate the per month data or per year data. That is also very important. See, in the previous question we discussed that the things are given that wherein many points are given per annum, but at the end the question is asking us to calculate the per month, so better prepare it in per month. Many students find it difficult that whether we have to solve per month or per year, so read the question carefully. Half of the work is done when you read the question carefully and then start writing the solution. See, if in a particular point you guys get stuck, don't get confused. Write down all the points, write down all the steps. For every step, for every point, you will get some marks. So that is the key. See, if you are finding any 1 or 2 points bit tricky or difficult in the question, don't leave it in option. Try to solve it. If you find like, okay, 1 or 2 points are a bit difficult or tricky, write your opinion. For every step, you will get some marks. So those who want to copy can please copy, giving you 2 minutes time. Else thereafter we'll start with one more question. Sir, can we take like this? No, it is. See, if the question is silent, then your opinion is correct. It's up to you. But herein the question is clearly mentioned that the effective units electricity purchased, that is 5,000 units, will form part of effective units. That's why I have taken 2,02,000 minus 10%. If the question is silent, all the approaches are correct. I hope it is clear now. Anyone else with any doubts or queries? So the chapter is very simple. For every steps you will get marks. Write down the total cost divided by units. Units may vary from industry to industry. That is the key. And for presentation, for every step, you will get some marks. Further, don't do any calculation in your rough book. Write down the working note. In the previous question, I have prepared so many working notes. So whatever you are doing, any sort of calculation by whatever name it is, just write down, just prepare it as a footnote or working note, and please post the calculations and all. So let's proceed further with the next question. Question number four. It is from past practice manual. I request you guys to open question number 4. The question is from past practice manual. So let's start with this question. A club runs a library for its member. The management of the club has provided the following figures for its library department, wherein the total number of members of clubs are 5,000, the number of library members are 1,000. Library fee per member per month is 100 rupees. So we can say it's a revenue for the club. Further, the fine for late return of books is ₹1 per book per day. So it's also the income for a club wherein they are charging fine of ₹1 per book per day. And average number of the books returned late per month is 500. And average number of days each book is returned late is 5 days. So on an average, a book returned late is 5 days, and in short, total 500 books were returned bit late. The number of available old books are 50,000. So they have a stock of 50,000 old books. The cost of new books is ₹300 per book. Number of books purchased per year, they are purchasing every year 1,200 books. The cost of maintenance per old book per year is ₹10. So since there are 50,000 books, so they are incurring a maintenance cost of ₹10 for every year. So the cost of yearly maintenance is 5 lakh. Staff details, they have 3 categories of staff: librarian, assistant librarian, and clerk. And their salaries are also given. You are required to calculate the cost of maintaining the library per year, excluding the cost of new books. Second, the cost incurred per month per member on the library, excluding the cost of new books, and net income from the library per year. So herein we have to make the calculation yearly, because see, herein they are asking us to, first of all, to calculate the cost of maintaining the library per year. Second, they are requiring us to calculate the cost of, net income of the library per year. Further, one monthly data they are asking. Now, the next part, if the club follows a policy that all new books must be purchased out of library revenue, what is the minimum number of books that can be purchased per year? That's okay. How many excess books are being purchased by the library per year? So guys, do read this question once again, then I'll be starting with the solution. I just want you guys to read this question. The question is from past practice manual. So do read the question once again, then we will start with the solution. So let's start with the solution now. So the first point is that the question is asking us to calculate the cost of maintaining the library per year, excluding the cost of new books. So let's prepare the statement of cost. The first and the foremost thing is cost of maintenance. See, herein only 2 costs are given. First one is the cost of maintaining the old book. So it is ₹10 per year, and total we have 50,000 books. Next is the salaries, wherein the salaries are given to librarian, assistant librarian, and clerk. There is only one librarian whose salary is 10,000 per month. So 1 into 10,000 into 12. Second is assistant librarian, that is total 3. So 3 into 7,000 into 12. And third one is there is only one clerk whose salary is 4,000. So it is 1,20,000. This will be 48,000. This will be 2,52,000. This is all what about the cost of that library. So the cost of maintaining the library per year, excluding the cost of new books, is over. This is what the cost of library. Now, second, they are asking is the cost incurred per member per month on library, excluding the cost of new books. See, it is given in the question. You are required to calculate the cost per member per month on the library, excluding the cost of new books. So you see, this is the yearly cost. So we will calculate the monthly cost first. That is 9,20,000 divided by 12. So it is 76,667. And cost per member we can easily calculate now. There are total 1,000 members, so 76.67. 76,667. So this is the answer of the second question. Now the net income from the library per year they are asking. So we have to calculate the revenue now. Now see, they are generating revenue from two ways. First one is the library fees per member per month. There are total 1,000 members. The library fees is given in the question, that is rupees 100 per member per month. So this will be 12 lakh rupees. Further, they are generating the revenue via fine for late return of books also. And the fine is how much? 1 rupees per book per day. Total average number of books returned late per month is 500. So 500 books were returned late per month. So for year total 6,000 books were delayed, and they are charging a fine of rupees 1, and average number of delay is 5 days. So it comes to 30,000. So my total revenue is 12,30,000. This is my total revenue. Further, my cost is how much? Yearly cost is how much? 9,20,000. So net profit will be how much? So now see guys, very important. The question is first asked us to calculate the cost of maintaining library per year. So this point is done. Second point, the cost incurred per member per month on library excluding the cost of new books. That is also done. The third point is the net profit, net income. So that is also done. Now, the question is asking that what is the maximum number of books that can be purchased per year if they are planning to purchase it only from the revenue. See, it is given in the question that if the club follows a policy that all new books must be purchased out of library revenue. So here in the library revenue is 3,10,000. So maximum number of books that can be purchased will be how much? 3,10,000 is the total revenue of the library for the year. And the cost of new books, see, it is given in the question, the cost of new books is rupees 300 per book. So what is the maximum number of books that they can purchase? 3,10,000 divided by 300 per book. So that is 1033. So this part is also done now. How many excess books are being purchased by the library per year? So they are purchasing extra books. So books purchased, actual books purchased, how much? So excess book purchased is how much? So this is all what about this question. So the point and the chapter is very simple, very clear, wherein the first point is prepare the statement of cost, wherein whatever the costs that are given, we have to arrange the cost. Specifically in transportation industry, we have to divide it in three parts. Rest divided by number of units. Units may vary from industry to industry. So there are variety of questions that are given in the study material. In my regular batches, I have discussed all the types of questions. So herein we have discussed in this session many RTPs, past RTPs and past examination based question. Number of trip per day means single trips. If it is given number of trips per day, it means it is single trip. So we have to go and come back. So if it is 5 trips, then we have to multiply it by 5 into 2. So the distance traveled one way is 20 kilometers. So 20 kilometers one way. So 20 plus 20, 40 kilometers into 5 trips. So 40 into 5, that is 200 kilometers in a day. Anyone else with any doubts or queries? So variety of questions are available in the past practice manual, study material, past MTPs, RTPs, past examination question. Everything is available over the portal. So just try to solve as many as possible questions in writing. Again, don't do ticking. There is no alternate of hard work. Write down and prepare your own solution instead of just vouching or verifying the solution. Not required. Prepare your own solution. It will help you to develop the confidence also, speed also, and you'll be able to solve the questions easily in exams. So that is all what about today's session. In the coming session, I'll be discussing the concepts of standard costing. So make sure all of you are present in the coming session. Whatever the queries you have, Whatever the doubts you are facing in standard costing, I'm here to address all your queries and doubts. A very important chapter wherein you will find a question in every attempt on standard costing. So make sure you guys are present and ready with your, prepared for the coming session. Till then, take care of yourself. God bless you. Thank you so much. Yes, sir.